is Christine Peckstein with Move Into Action. And I am here with you for this special episode on one of my greatest faults. That's what we're going to talk about today. We all have faults. Everybody does. But I'm going to be pretty transparent with you with one of mine. And it's that there's so much to be done in life that I don't want to miss anything. I mean, whether it's with my career, a relationship, whether it's, church, doing whatever needs to be done for the kingdom of God, my family, I would be one, and I guess maybe this comes from being a single parent, but I would try to take it all on myself. It's like, I can do this. There's no reason I can't. I just got to push through. I'm going to keep doing it. But there were so many years of me doing that honestly, I ended up learning the hard way that wasn't the best thing to do, and that I needed to not do that. I needed to not try to do it all myself. One, because it wasn't healthy for me. It's not healthy for me. It's not healthy for you. It's not healthy for any one person to think that they can do all for everyone all of the time and not miss a beat, because when you do that, you do this thing, we make ourselves superheroes. I know I did. I thought I was a superhero mom. I was a superhero single mom. I was a superhero business person. I was a superhero, volunteer. I was a superhero community person. I mean, and eventually all of that, it catches up with you. Whether it's through your health or your relationships, it will catch up with you, and it's going to have an impact on any one of those areas. And as you know, I teach in life management that snowball effect. When it hits one of your life areas, it snowballs, and it can impact many of those life areas. So it will catch up with you in one way or another, and that is not fun when it does. Well, it's hard to say, well, okay, which ones of those things that I want to do, what should I do? Because everything seems important, and it all is important. I mean, being involved in those types of things at home and at work and in your family and things like that, and even in your personal life, they're all important. And so it's going to take more than one person to change the world. With things like that, we have to realize that. Even with the family, it's going to take more than one person to change that family. We can't do everything ourselves. And thank goodness. And I look at it this way. God made many people, and He gave those many people different gifts and abilities. And thank goodness that they were distributed according to His will and how He made us and for His purposes and plans for us. You know what that tells me is that, yay, Christine is not going to do it all. That gave me a little bit of freedom, actually a lot of freedom. I could sit back and take a deep breath and let out this huge sigh, because you know what? I can't do all that. I mean, and I'm so glad, thank goodness, because I would run around and frazzle myself to death. I mean, and I'm frazzled too much as it is. I still have a lot going on in my life, even though I have pared down, and I find myself, I'm always paring down, whether it be through going through my house and getting rid of stuff I no longer need, or just in my life, I look at things and it's like, do I need this in my life at this point? Or is it something I need to let go of? So this is my transparency here, is to prevent myself from doing too much and from making myself even more frazzled in my life, because I'm one of these people, and I like that. Ooh, I want to do. Ooh, I want to do. Ooh, I want to do that. That sounds awesome. Ooh, that needs to be done. So I'll go, ooh, I want to do. And so that's what I call the ooh, I want to do's. I will catch myself saying, ooh, I want to do. I have to limit myself. And I've decided to limit myself to just 3 things. And here's the other thing. They're not all for ministry purposes. Now, I do a lot for community and ministry and the kingdom of God and everything else. But one of those has to be for ministry. One of them has to be for work. And the other has to be for me, because my growth and development for me is important too, as a person. And so those are the 3 things in my life that I am allowing to take my time, my energy, and my resources, because really in this season, right now, and I've had some health issues I've been going through and trying to deal with, and I'm overcoming them, and I'm going to conquer them. But in this season, that's all the time, energy, and the resources that I've got. So I don't feel bad. I don't feel guilty. I said, those are the 3 things I want to do. I've got, I'm going to pick 3 things. So I went through the whole list of stuff that there was the list of stuff that I wanted to do, which was everything. I wanted to save the whole world. And then there was the list of stuff that I'd like to do. I think it would be cool to do that. And then I had to narrow it down to the stuff that I can do. And I can do those things and focus on them. So there may be other people out there, who can do 4 things, 5 things, 6 things, 11 things, 15 things. I'm just not one of them, especially right now in this season. Now, way back when I did, but I kind of think that had a lot to do with the health issues that I'm facing today, because stress is a huge factor in that. And so for my sake, I needed to choose just 3 things, and I'm going to focus on those 3 things, and I'm going to do those 3 things as best I can. I will do them well. And what's more awesome than that, than to have a lot of things that you're trying to do and you're barely hanging on and you're forgetting things and you're doing a terrible job, or you just pick a few and you give it the time, energy, and resources that you realistically have and that you can devote to those things, and you do them very well. That's awesome. So we got to think about it from that. It's not how much we do, it's what we do and how well we do it. So we need to take all those things into consideration when we're looking at our life management, our priorities, and our stress management, because those 3 things play together big time. So this is what is so awesome about life management, though, because, it's not a one size fits all. It doesn't. What works for my life is not going to work for yours, and what works for your season of life that you're in right now is not going to work for mine. And so it's just as unique. When we do our priorities and our life management and our stress management plans, we do what works for us. It is not one size fits all. So that's why when I started coaching and training, I gave this so much thought, and I chose to specialize in life and stress management. And I will tell you why. Because I was coaching people on reaching their goals. Everybody wants to reach their goals. And so, I need a life coach. I need somebody to help me, I put my goals down on paper. I'm going to put together my action plan, and I'm going to do those steps, and I'm going to be successful, and I'm going to reach those goals. And you know what? What I found out was that while people had good intentions and they really wanted to reach those goals, they were not reaching those goals. They were falling out. And you know why? It was because they didn't have the time, the energy, or the resources necessary to even reach those goals. So while I could see that people had good intentions, they just didn't have the time and the energy necessary in order to reach what they said they wanted to do, and they found themselves feeling less than successful, and I didn't want to contribute to that. I wanted to specialize in life and stress management to help those people, those too busy people, whittled their goals down so that they could then take a look at what their most precious priorities were. I've got this goal, but is this goal higher than that priority that I have? I want to be successful at work, but is that more important than being there for my kids when they really, really need me right now? And so it was a matter of taking and looking at our goals versus our priorities. And then we were whittling it down, and we were looking at those precious priorities. And then people would come and they would get to a point where they could create the life that they really wanted. And they realized while doing that most of what they wanted, they already had. They had those kids that they wanted to spend time with. They just had to rearrange their priorities in order to make it happen. They didn't need any more money. They didn't need a bigger house. They didn't need a better car. It wasn't the materialistic things that we look at when we think that when we reach our goals, we will finally have made it. It's whittling out all the excess and getting rid of it so that we can see that we really do already have what we need. We just need to make the time in order to enjoy it. We need to make sure that all the life is not being sucked out of us with all these activities and running and just chaos that we live in our everyday lives, that we're not too tired to actually enjoy what we already have. I coach people and talk to them, and they say, I just long for a weekend when I can sit at home and enjoy my house. I have this house, but I'm never home to enjoy it. And sometimes I see that. I walk into my house and it's like, I love this place. This is home. This is my peaceful place. And I just want to sit and enjoy it. I don't want to run anywhere. I just want to sit. I want to have a cup of coffee in my own house. I want to sit with my family in my house and enjoy what we've got around us. which, board games doesn't have to be a lot of great stuff that we have to add to it. It's most of the time stuff that we've already got, like the library of books. It's like, I just need time to sit down and read. But we never have the time to sit down and read. We have the books. We don't need to add anything else to it. We need to take all the chaos out of it so that we have time to enjoy what we already have. And so that is what I have found to be most important in life and stress management. And that was why I decided to specialize in this, is to help those too busy people whittle those goals down and find out what those precious priorities were. And then they could create the life that they really wanted. And you know what? They found out they had most of what they needed already. Well, the same principles applies with our careers, our families, and other things. And there are certain times of our lives, though, that we do need to step away from too much in order to specialize and do well. It's not about doing everything. It's about doing what we do well, whether it's much or whether it's little. We need to do it, and we need to do it well. So, we also have to look at the season of life that we are in, because what we choose to do will be greatly influenced by the season of life. Anybody with toddlers knows that your season of life is much different than somebody who has teenagers, because that person with teenagers might have a little bit more freedom and flexibility with things, and that person with toddlers may not. So the seasons of life and what is going on in our lives at those point in times is really important. And we have to remember that as our lives change, those seasons will change, and what we do in those seasons will also change. And that is to be expected. So, knowing what you know about your life and your season and your priorities, I want you to think about this. What do you think that you might need to add or remove to refine your focus or expand it? Are you in a season of life where maybe now you can start adding things to what you're doing and do a little bit more? So maybe you're going to expand what you're doing. Maybe you're in a season of life where you need to be more concentrated and focused. You really need to narrow down what you're doing because it's just too much. And at this point in time, you need to get very specific about what you're doing. And you need to remove some things so that you can refine your focus. That's what I want to leave you thinking about with this episode. So I want you to think about that for me. Do you need to expand and add, or do you need to subtract and refine? There's nothing wrong with doing either one of them, and we can't feel guilty for doing that, because when we get away from the guilt of feeling like we have to maintain a certain lifestyle, a certain number of activities, that we have to be a certain level of busy in order to be successful or be just like everybody else, when we get away from that, it's when we truly find peace with the life and stress management. And that means that you're using what you've learned effectively, and that means I've done my job well. And that is important to me, because I want to be the best life and stress management coach, not because I do everything, but because I've got it so refined that you can pick out what it is that you need, and you can easily adapt it. You can use it right away. You can put it into your life immediately. You don't have to search hard for it. It's easy to implement. And when I make it that easy for you, then I've done my job well, because that means I have refined it enough that you can simply use it and it doesn't complicate matters or take time away from those precious priorities that you have that you would rather spend that time for. So that's the episode this time, you guys. I will see you the next podcast. Now, what I want you to do, though, if life and stress management is something that you feel would benefit you greatly, would help you whittle down those priorities, I do have the tools online for you, and they will help you right away, because you can put what I teach into practice immediately. And I mean immediately. There is no delay. So if that is something that interests you, I'm asking you to head on over to moveintoaction.com and look under online courses, because you can take them at a pace that works for you. And when you do that, you'll be able to take, I'm serious, you'll be able to take specifically what you learn and put it into practice right away. All right, I'll see you guys next time.